So at our ECRM sessions, I hear from a lot of brands that they love the fact we have buyers from different types of retail channels, whether it's traditional brick and mortar or e-commerce, and they end up finding new opportunities they never thought existed before. So with me today is one of those buyers. So Anders Carlson is the co-founder of Ballard House. Now they partner with consumer product brands to stock, manage, and grow their products on the Amazon marketplace. So thanks for joining us. To start off, give us an overview of Ballard House and what you guys do.
Yeah, thank you. So Ballard House is a retail partnership company. We help brands to thrive on Amazon, becoming an exclusive retail buyer and helping to partner with your own strategy team to grow and carry out a exceptional e-commerce strategy. That's the core of it. Mm-hmm. Now, if we back it up to like the founding of the company, right? So I like to say that I was an undiagnosed entrepreneur when I was younger, right? I had an entrepreneur's heart beating in my chest, but I was walking the path, which was go to school, get the grades, get the job, very much walking that line. And then as soon as I got the job out of college, I immediately started a side hustle. It was like, okay, enough of this. I got to work for myself. And so I jumped right into that. And that's how I got started in e-commerce. And so I immediately roped my older brother into it. We started this thing and we're hustling, doing retail arbitrage. And then we were doing wholesale purchasing, things like that, really just getting the ropes. But at the end of the day, all those other ways of kind of technically scratching out a buck were not in line with what Amazon wanted. And I remember this was after COVID and we had this big boom. Our little reselling shop had this big boom from COVID. And Amazon released this whole new set of features. They said, oh, we're going to add this and this and this. And they were all saying, this is how brands can succeed. This is what brands can do to grow. And I just stared at that screen and was like, this is going to make my life so much harder. And it kind of hit me, oh, what we need to do is actually work with the brands because it's clear Amazon wants brands to be in charge of their destiny. So how can we help them do that? So that was the impetus between shifting from doing the wholesale arbitrage thing really into this. And so in those early days, we learned, as many lessons as we could along the way, failing fast, just trying not to fail far, right? Because that's what you don't want to do is like go out of business. But we learned all the mistakes that you can make early on and figured a lot of these things out. So then we took that to our partners. And we started out just because we had some wholesale buying relationships starting there. And so we went to all the brands that we were purchasing from and said, hey, it looks like you're not really doing anything on Amazon. You should probably do this focused and really take it seriously. And so a number of those said yes. And then we've since refined our craft and really figured out how to do this at scale. So now, because of that humble beginnings where we're working with the wholesale brands, this is our language. The ECRM folks, their whole language is, hey, give us a PO, we'll ship you stuff. So we fall into that lane really nicely, but then we layer in really, really strong e-commerce operations.
Gotcha. What are some of the challenges that a brand, so let's say I'm a new entrepreneur, launched a brand, and I want to get on Amazon. What are some of the challenges they face or mistakes or things they might not think of when it comes to really doing a good job on the platform?
Yeah, so the first thing I think of is merchandising. So in e-commerce, you're shipping across the country to a person. So if you're shipping on a shelf, in a retail shelf, you ship them a case of 12, they open the top off, you can buy one, you can buy two, makes no difference. If you're going to ship that, you want to push up your order values. And now on Amazon, a platform like Amazon, they'll allow you to buy three. Like everyone's shopped on Amazon and said, I'll take three. But as a seller and as the brand, you're tripling your fees if you do it that way. You're going to instead want to make a 3-pack, have that offering established. So that's just something you can easily go years down the road built on the wrong foundation. So one of the things that we do is we help design that foundation from the beginning so you have that momentum. So that's the first one, is like the merchandising piece. Beyond that, Amazon is so fundamentally different as a marketplace where there's no like a lot of conventional web stores. You can just kind of drag the product and put it where you want it. Amazon says you can pay us to put it in some of these spots. And if other people want it, you can pay us more. And so it's just competitive. And so you can't just have it be something you just dabble in or just try because someone's going to eat your lunch.
Yeah. What's that saying? You're either all the way in or you're not at all. Right. You can't do it in the middle. And too many brands, some new brands don't have the resources to really spend time learning that. And that's where you guys come from.
Right. Well, and it's costly. The mistakes can be really costly because even if you have to send the inventory in incorrectly and you have to pull it back, now they charge you it every single way along the road. So working with someone who's already made all of the mistakes, that makes a huge difference.
Yeah, yeah. It helps them avoid those little road bumps along the way.
Well, that's the thing. There are dozens of those bumps, like hundreds of those bumps.
Yeah.
And if you've never done it before, you don't know where they are. Whereas if you've seen them all, you see them coming months down the road.
Yeah.
You make plans for them way in advance.
And I imagine there's a lot of updates that happen regularly that they would need to be, that you take care of.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. So the big one, not too long, it was like maybe a year ago, was they added something called the inbound placement fee, where before you could just send the whole truckload to one facility and they would spread it out across the country. Now they said, if you do that, it's going to cost you 50 cents a unit.
Yeah.
60, 80 cents a unit, which adds up at scale, like big time.
Oh, yeah.
And so what they said, you can avoid that if you just ship it to 6 locations yourself. So now you're not shipping 1 container, you're shipping 6 LTL shipments. Your price per pounds just went through the roof.
Yeah, yeah.
So that's one of those things where working with us, we have our own trucking lines going. So you piggyback in on all of our partner shipments.
Okay, so
it's a pretty big advantage there.
Of your economies of scale.
Correct.
Okay.
Which is where those newer brands, they have no economy of scale yet, so they can immediately gain access to it.
So it could get pretty expensive for a brand doing it on their own.
We've had partners who that was the kiss of death, where they said, we can't do this anymore because of this fee. And when they came to us, it changed everything, and they could keep going.
Awesome. So now you work with brands a little bit differently than a lot of companies that work on Amazon. You actually buy the inventory yourself and share the risk and the reward with them.
Yeah.
So how does that work? So you come here and when you're in a meeting with somebody, how does that work?
Yeah. So that's a bit different than a lot of the agencies. You're going to get, like, I'm sure everyone here, their inbox is full of people saying, hey, you should be doing Amazon. You should be doing Amazon. How about a retainer? Great. That's no good. We're very different. We really feel that you need to be as invested in the success as the brand to do this. And one of the reasons that it really works here in the CPG space is that's how the companies are built, right? Their entire thing is produce the product, get it into distribution. And so what we don't want to have to do is force these companies to reinvent their core economics and redo their books, right? So what we do is now we're taking possession of that inventory as soon as we can get it, right? The freshest that we can get it into the pipeline, and take it from there. And we do feel like really strongly, we love the fact that it aligns the incentives for growth really well. Yeah. And we believe that you shouldn't get to participate in that upside if you didn't participate in the risk along the way.
Yeah, you have skin in the game.
Exactly. So. And it's almost like found investment, because like I was saying earlier, there's a marketing expense to growing on Amazon. It's a very competitive landscape. And so when we bring cash to you out the gate, now you have the money right away to fund that in a way that you may have otherwise not had. And that's really great for those like early level brand
Yeah,
stages.
That's a good point too. So what about the fulfillment side? How do you handle fulfillment?
Yeah, so it's critical to keep using the FBA fulfillment network. That's how you're going to get Prime, which is like the 2-day, 1-day shipping. And any product that has that is getting massive algorithmic love. So we still think, you got to be in there. However, I was just alluding to it before, you get the economies of scale where once the product comes to our facility in Southeast Michigan, we then piggyback them together across the country to cover all the inventory. And so it's still using the Prime shipping network, but it's simplifying inbound because you ship to one location, and that's us. And then Amazon ships it from there. And actually, this is something that a lot of brands don't fully understand, but that geographic coverage is huge. Because if I'm not near a product and I'm looking for it, if I'm typing in, a board game that I really want to buy, and it doesn't happen to be here, they'll recommend other board games ahead of me if it's got 3, 5, 7-day shipping on it, because they think I want something immediately, right? And that's across the board for any number of products. So getting that distribution, you might not know how much you're leaving on the table if you only ship it to 1 or 2 warehouses, because it doesn't get everywhere unless you do the full spread.
That makes so much sense, because I've been in that situation where I've changed my purchasing decision because of when something would get here. A lot of times it's because I travel so much. And it's like, you know what? This is going to get here in 2 days before I leave for the session, where the other one, it's going to arrive while I'm at session. And that's going to
Exactly.
change. So I know exactly what you mean by that. Now, is there a fee structure? How does that work?
So this is part of the beautiful thing of how we do it. Our flagship offer has no fees attached to it. We're living as a company inside the difference between the wholesale price and the retail price. So that's part of the alignment of the incentives there, right? There's often a onboarding fee just because we're adding all these SKUs into the catalog, but it's like nothing next to a retail, like a retail store chain where they're like 6-figure onboarding fee to get the shelf space. It's a little bit to cover adding all those catalogs into our process, but that's it.
Well, there's work.
There's a lot of work, right? Exactly. Well, and that's exactly right, because we're going to bring in content, so we'll make content, and we're going to bring in research and competitor research, and then all the advertising that's required, we're going to manage all of that. And in all of that, so many advertising houses, they're charging a percentage of spend. They're charging a percentage of sales. None of that's there. We're literally only there on the retail margin. And so what that equates to is now you're not working with 4 different agencies and a 3PL who's charging you nickel and dime fees for every little pallet and piece you move. We've got all of that under one house.
So you're saving them a lot of time too.
Yeah.
And expenses.
Correct.
And that's just, there's so much stuff to manage that, again, if it's an emerging brand that's got limited resources, that's way too much.
Yeah, it's a lot to try to take on. And so when you're an emerging brand, you need to be focusing on awareness. And then where can you get in front of more and more people and tell your story? What you don't want to be dealing with is your listing that's shut down because Amazon said, hey, this little feature here, that's against the rules, when it's really not. And you have to go back and forth just to like convince them that you are following the rules. That kind of headache will shut down all of your momentum. You can't have that. You're in your prove it moment. Let us do our proven process while you prove it as a brand. You know?
You do that heavy lifting, the busy work. That's really not mission critical. It's not about the brand itself. It's about
I can't tell you how many founders and CEOs are sitting there trying to resolve a support case. Because they're wearing so many hats. It's like, guys, go work with an influencer. He'll sell 1,000 units. Like,
True. So now, what kind of categories? What categories do you cover?
So we're actually brand agnostic at the moment. So we love products that are smaller just because we're shipping it all over the country, right? Everyone has more margin to grow faster when the product is small and light and expensive. However, doesn't mean that's all we work with. We work with a music stand company. We're shipping oversized boxes all over the place, right? So we can do it all. And the reality is, once you know how the Amazon tools work, you can use them any which way. And there's less nuance than you might think. A lot of people think, wow, each category is so particular and there's a very specific way to do it. And that's really true when you are building your awareness and talking directly to a customer. But Amazon, half the time you're just talking to the algorithm in the back. And that's a whole piece, that's a whole language you have to learn and how to pull that off. And then you layer in your messaging. But for the most part, the biggest hurdle is having the years of experience to be the Amazon whisperer and really understand how their machine is talking to your products and the customers.
I like that. So food and beverage, health and beauty care, general merchandise.
All of
Cover
it.
all.
Now,
since you do have skin in the game and you're putting your own money on the table, I'm sure you're selective over which brands you're going to work with. What criteria do you look for?
Sure. So we analyze every single potential partnership using our 3 Ps model. The first P is people, which is why we love ECRM. You get to go meet the people right away. And so we have a no jerks policy. And I tell that to my team. I'm never going to bring a brand in who's going to mistreat you. And they appreciate that.
I think that's an important policy.
It's a really important policy.
We do business with people, not companies.
Right.
So
exactly.
If you can't really work together, this industry is built on long-term partnerships. You have to like the people you're working with in order to make that partnership work and to really grow it in a deep and meaningful way. So 100% agree with that rule.
It's a great first rule. And the next one is the product. So we have to actually review it. Every brand owner in their heart believes they have the best product, but we have to go in and do the due diligence and make sure that it's really amazing. And then third is the potential, and that's both the potential on Amazon, because we don't want to have the product capping out at a $50,000 a year
Yeah.
sell through. That's like trying to pound in a nail with a jackhammer.
Mhm.
We're like, guys, what are we doing here?
Yeah.
We want them to have a $5 million a year product, right? So that's what we're shooting for. But the potential is really, it's twofold. Number one, it's the product potential in the market.
Mhm.
What is the actual market potential of this product? And two, it's back to the people again.
Yeah.
What are these people capable of doing? Do we believe that this founder team or this e-com marketing team has what it takes to take it all the way? We're going to be, a crucial part of that, but they have to be aggressive and want it.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, that's
a huge part of
we
it.
have to battle. Yeah. So you're relatively new to working with eCRM and attending sessions, but you have had a success or a partnership with a brand, right?
Yeah. Well, yeah, like we said, we love eCRM, and we came to our first event, and some of our partners were already here.
Yeah.
We were like, oh, shoot, we're in the right place. Like, if they're already
Well, that's
here,
a good sign. It
was a great sign.
Yeah.
We're kind of like, shoot, why didn't we know they were
Yeah.
here? Anyway, so we took them out to dinner, and it was great.
Awesome.
But yeah, we've been to a whole bunch of these now. And our most recent brand that we worked with was Health Garden USA. They're like a sugar substitute product. And they wanted to work with us because Amazon was just hitting them over the head with issues constantly. And their sweet spot is getting into more doors. So they were like, guys, we just want to get into more retail doors. And this Amazon thing, it's been good. They've done a great job building all this momentum, but it was kind of like 2 years old methodology. So we said, great. We can come in, we can not only take on and absorb all those headaches and solve them for you, but we'll also level up your content again and just consolidate their inventory. They actually were doing this thing where they had like 10 different variations of the same product of just different sizes of the same sugar. So we said, let's make it 3 because Amazon is all about momentum. And so momentum diluted across 10 products. While customers may like it, they probably like it just about the same as 3.
Yeah.
So we're not really losing anything, but we're turbocharging momentum. And so the algorithm is picking up those consolidated sales in a really sweet way.
So, and that's important. They have to keep in mind the algorithm and how that behaves and what it likes for Amazon, which may be different than selling a product on a shelf somewhere.
It's very different. Yeah. And I feel like I didn't do it justice to like, this was incredible where we met them at eCRM and their eyes were just like, oh my gosh, this is perfect. And that moved really quickly. It was about a month later, we were onboarding and rocking and rolling. And it's been really fantastic since then. And so we've been going to a whole bunch of these and we're just loving them.
Awesome. So what do brands need to know if they're going to get the most out of a relationship with you guys?
Yeah. So there's a lot that has to line up, and people are going to come to them and say, you're going to get into this what you put out of it. You're going to get out of this what you put into it, right? Spend on ads, and that's important, but there's so much more to that. The starting point always has to be, do you want change, right? And so a lot of brands they're comfortable with the status quo and they don't really want to turbocharge anything. They're just like, you know what, I'm pretty happy where we are. I just don't want to deal with it anymore. And so our account managers, they play to win. So play to win is one of our company core values. And so they're like, if I brought them a partner who's like, I'm just good. If we grow maybe 0.5% annually, we're good. They would say, why are you doing this to me, man? I want to go. I want to go feast, right? And so I would say, if you want to get the most out of Ballard House, come hungry, right? Because we're here wanting to play to win, wanting to really go attack and grow your market share. And if you don't come and bring that attitude of like, I really want to make this happen, we're a force multiplier, right? We're going to take what you want to achieve and we're going to make it happen. And we're not going to come in and say, we're not going to come and call the shots and tell you what to do. We're going to first come off where you have a clearer idea of what you want to do.
Well, you said force multiplier. They have to apply the force for you to
There's
multiply.
a chunk of it, yeah.
So yeah, you're enhancing what they do, accelerating what they're already doing. So for a brand who's going to be coming to meet with you, whether it's here, whether it's somewhere else, what should they be prepared to answer?
Yeah, I can start with like if you're meeting us at an eCRM event, that one is much more clear. The first thing you got to do is be clear of what you want. This is like a life thing in general, where you're never going to reach a destination if you don't first like decide where you want to go. And so we're not going to sit down with you at a table and tell you where you should go and bully you into that. We're here to meet you and understand where you want to go and see if It gets back to the people and the potential.
Mhm.
Do you have that fire in your gut
Yeah.
to make your brand really do something? So if you know what you want to do and you can bring that clarity of destination, we're going to bring in the clarity of direction and say, this is what you got to do. This is how you're going to get there.
Mhm.
So if you are doing that, so like prepping for an ECRM call and you don't have clarity of where you want to go, that's awesome. We're happy to help you get there.
Yeah.
We're not saying that like lack of clarity is a bad thing, but if you already have it, then we can immediately start adding strategic value. We're perfectly happy to coach you through thinking through these bigger problems. So that would be the starting point. And then if you already know the products you want to kind of accelerate with,
Mhm.
oftentimes we don't want to start with a 300 SKU catalog
Yeah.
and shove it all, right? Amazon's not going to receive it well. It's going to be hard for everybody. So we'd start with a targeted piece. So we're going to save everybody time if you say, these are our best 10 sellers. Here's how we'd want to do it. And then we would be able to much more appropriately measure potential and possibilities from there.
Okay, and if they already have a presence on Amazon,
Yeah.
are there some numbers that they need to come to the table with that you would want to know about in the discussion?
Yeah. So for one, we will do research behind your brand beforehand anyway. So there are some tools you can get to estimate your sales, but they're all an estimate. So you're the only one who really knows. But we'll come in and we'll try to be as informed as we can be, so we can have an educated conversation. A good signal for us is if you're already doing $1 million in sales on Amazon annually, that's a great signal. That's a sign that there's meat on those bones to really take it and run with it. But that's not a floor. Like we will work with smaller brands, particularly if we love the people and if we love the potential in the product. And then, I kind of joked earlier about ad spend.
Yeah.
It's kind of a big part.
You gotta have
kind of a big part of it.
It's part of what makes the algorithm happy. With,
It's it's the e-commerce version of trade spend, where you have to do promos, you have to pay for shelf space. E-commerce is just a little bit different. You're auctioning off clicks.
Okay. Yeah.
So it's the same
But
game.
that's a good analogy though, because a lot of them are already used to the trade spend in the brick and mortar side. So I mean, you gotta. There's a little bit of pay to play.
Yeah. And like I said, there's a momentum game to it. And so if you have like a kind of spotty supply chain, a stock out is like, it takes you 2 months to recover from a stock out.
Yeah.
So it's our job to forecast ahead of time, help you prepare and build your product in time. But if you are unreliable in that can be a challenge.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, listen, thank you for joining us. And for the brands out there, so it's Ballard House, and you're going to see them at a lot of ECRMs over the coming months. So thanks again.
Thank you, Joe.